A start behind the plate today for Max Ramirez, part of the Ranger overhaul over the last few days. The names, the faces are changing. The wins, though, well, they're starting to come. The Rangers are within a game of 500. They're taking on the slumping White Sox today on a very nice but very windy afternoon here at the ballpark today. We welcome you to Texas Ranger Baseball. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin. Winds of change also about to blow. Ian Kinsler is going to get back in the lineup. That's tomorrow. Now the Rangers need to decide what to do about Joaquin Arias and or Andres Blanco.
Well, it's unfortunate if it boils down to that decision because both of these kids have played well enough to be in the big leagues. They're both big league ball players. Arias had a huge hit in last night's game with the bases loaded. They both handled the bat pretty well. They played solid defense. And, you know, there's some talk that Ryan Kerko might be affected by that change, in which case it would be a little bit different scenario. But both of these kids have played well enough to be in the big leagues, no doubt about that.
Both these guys are in the lineup today with Elvis Andrus getting the day off, and it's a day that, as we mentioned, is very windy. We'll see how that affects the flight of the baseball. It'll be a good day for Scott Feldman to get that sinker working and keep the Chicago White Sox from hitting the ball in the air. It's Feldman against Gavin Floyd. First pitch coming up in just a moment or two. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one, for it is the best in Texas. By Progressive. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. By Jack in the Box. Right now, choose any three for only $3 plus tax. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. And boy, today, grab your bag and hold on. We have wind gusts of up to 40 miles an hour today. Pretty steady southerly wind from 25 to 35 miles an hour. Tom, have you ever seen the foul pole sway like that?
I don't know if I've noticed it. I'm sure the wind has blown like this at some point in time, but this is as windy as it's been up in the booth in sometime, that's for sure.
Chicago's starting a curveballer today, Gavin Floyd, and sometimes a curveball can have funky things happen to it on its way to the plate with a wind like that. We'll monitor that. Obviously monitor the flight of fly balls all day today. The White Sox, who are in today at only 8-13. They've got Pierre and Beckham, former Ranger Andrew Jones, and then Paul Kerko. Mark Tien and Alex Rios, Mark Kotsay and A.J. Przinsky, Alexei Ramirez at the bottom of Ozzie Guillen's lineup. And with the wind swirling and howling today, it's going to be a great day for Scott Feldman to finally get those ground balls back and going. We check it out on the Suzuki scouting report. I think that middle one, Tag, tells the story.
Yeah, his 4 starts can be pretty much categorized into the first 2 good ones and the last 2 bad ones. The first 2, he pitched 7 innings, and both of them gave up a total of 4 earned runs. In his last 2, he's pitched a total of 6 innings, 2 1/3 and 3 2/3, and given up 12 runs, 8 earned runs in his last 2 starts. And what Scott needs to do is get back to what he was doing in his first 2 starts and put those last 2 behind him.
Yeah, so Scott is in today with that 5.40. The very best birthday present he could give his manager today would be a deep into the ball game kind of afternoon. Ron Washington turns 58 years old today. And hoping that Scott Feldman can get it back together. Our Geico quote of the day: yeah, when he's getting a lot of ground balls, that's when you know he's right. When he's getting a lot of baseballs up in the air, he's not. And again, with the conditions today, baseballs up in the air, that could be problematic. Bad day for hats, bad day for toupees. Whatever you got, hang on to it. Joe Madden got in trouble for Tampa Bay wearing a hoodie. Ozzie Guillen comes out in full hoodie today.
They rescinded that rule. Joe Madden can wear the hoodie now.
And so can Ozzie, apparently. There's a bunt that actually hits the bat and bounces away. I think it was going to stay foul anyway, but it hit the discarded bat and bounced very foul. Yeah, what did they say? Hoodies are okay?
They're okay.
I mean, just in general, that's it?
I think so, yeah.
I thought there was some provision, but no, I guess I could be wrong.
I'm not sure what the provision could be unless they said cold, but then cold is in the eyes of the beholder, I guess.
We got 78 degrees right now, so.
I don't think it's a great look for a manager to wear a hoodie, personally.
No. Well, I mean, how far we've fallen, too, since Connie Mack used to go in, full suit, with the knotted up tie and everything. And
it looks more like, it looks more like a workout. Now, there's a good curveball from Scott. His curveball the last 2 times out has been flat. That one had some depth to it, and you can see what happens when he throws that good curveball. That's much better. Hopefully that'll be the curveball Scott features today.
Pierre slaps it on the ground to second base, and he's out immediately. The Rangers defensively go around into the outfield for you. Josh Hamilton, Julio Borbon, and David Murphy. Remember, Nelson Cruz is on the DL. Ian Kinsler is about to come off the DL, so we'll see how that affects things at second base. Max Ramirez catching Feldman. The 4th Ranger catcher of the month is Maximiliano Ramirez.
Well, evidently Max has made some good progress defensively. The Rangers are happy with the way he's catching the ball right now. He's always had the potential to be a really good offensive player.
It's amazing how things have turned over, and we're not even out of April yet. Both of the Rangers catchers, Saltalamacchia and Teagarden, have been sent down. The leadoff man is now hitting 9th. That's Julio Borbon. The Rangers have swapped out closers. They're still trying to find out exactly what they've got in Rich Harden. That ball lined in a left by Beckham, out number 2. But the good news through all of that, Tag, here are the Rangers with, all of that, plus no Ian Kinsler. Now Nelly Cruz is on the DL. Feldman's had these 2 rough starts. They are 1 game back in the loss column.
Yeah, and I think the message to the team is, and it's the right message. Unless you've got a veteran team filled with guys with track records, then it's difficult, if you're trying to win, to stay with guys who aren't producing indefinitely. And what the Rangers are saying is, look, we believe in our young players, but you still have to produce this year. It's not going to be a situation where you're going to be carried on the team regardless of your performance. if you're not producing and we've got some alternatives, then we're going to go to those alternatives. And that's the way it should be in the big leagues on a team that's trying to win.
To have expectations, I mean, right, that's kind of a new thing, but also to have the depth from which to draw, to say, okay, if player A can't get this done, we love player B. Ooh, Feldman almost dispatching of Andrew Jones. That's Ed Rappiano calling balls and strikes for us today.
Well, Scott threw 93 pitches in 3 2/3 in his last start. It'd be nice to get him right here and make it an 11-pitch first inning.
Feldman is certainly used to windy days. He used to go to Giants games at Old Candlestick Park growing up as a kid, as opposed to growing up as an adult, I suppose. But this is kind of a Candlestick kind of feel today. The old ballpark where the 49ers still do play. And Scott's dad is a director of security for the 49ers, by the way. Breaking ball inside. But yeah, at Old Candlestick for afternoon baseball, you'd see hot dog wrappers and napkins just swirling all around. We got that kind of dynamic going today here in Arlington. You can hear the flags just whipping around way out there in center field. Jones is going to knock one foul.
Scott with the confidence to throw his curveball on a 3-2 pitch. Had Jones way out in front of it.
It's a quick start for Andrew Jones. He's got a half a dozen home runs. Full line and 3-2.
See ya.
Got him. To end the inning. Real nice start for Scott Feldman. Rangers coming up against Gavin Floyd when we come back. The Rangers this afternoon will have Joaquin Arias leading off for the first time this year. Elvis gets the afternoon to himself. Young and Hamilton, Guerrero and Murphy, Smoke and Max Ramirez, Blanco and Bourbon. And Gavin Floyd is on the mound, 27-year-old right-hander who's been really struggling here in 2010. Scouting him out courtesy of Suzuki.
Yeah, he's had 4 starts. His first start was pretty decent, but he struggled in his last 3. Guy that is a little bit prone to giving up the long ball, and his opponent's batting average this year is high at .325. The last 2 years he's been a real solid pitcher, though. He's 17-9. Last year he's only 11-11, but his numbers were about the same. Just didn't have much support. Fourth pick in the first round back in 2001. That was with the Phillies, and he was traded for Freddie Garcia along with Gio Gonzalez. That was a really good trade for the White Sox. Gio Gonzalez is now in the rotation for the A's.
Floyd and Mark Teixeira went consecutively in that draft at 4 and 5, having attended the same high school back in Maryland.
Yeah, the funny thing is, Freddie Garcia is back with the White Sox now.
That's
so
right.
They've got everything they started out with.
Life's a big circle, Tom.
Yep. What goes around comes around.
Well, for Floyd, you know, when we saw him in spring training in a game, and I think the thing we said about him then just rings true, that he's one of those guys that when everything shows up in the same game all at once, he can dominate, and that'll happen a few times a year. That ball grounded to third, and Tien takes care of things. When he harnesses the power fastball and the plus curve in the same game, he is really tough to hit. Pierre, Rios, Andrew Jones in the outfield. Carlos Quentin a late scratch with a strained hamstring. A.J. Przinsky catching Gavin Floyd.
If you look at the last 2 years for Gavin Floyd, his opponent's batting average is right around 240. And that's pretty solid. He's got stuff that's tough to hit. Got a good fastball. He's not throwing that hard yet in this game, along with a good curveball. Has not pitched well on the road recently, though. In his last 5 road starts, his ERA is almost 10.
Yikes. Gets another ground ball in the hole at short. There's Ramirez to get Michael Young. Now, Floyd is doing what he needs to do on this windy afternoon, just like Feldman, keep the ball down. Be great to have some base runners to start running around today. Gavin Floyd is one of those guys who does allow a bunch of steals. As many as 37 in one season. That was in 08. No other pitcher allowed more than 27 in the AL that year. We saw the Rangers just go off on a track meet in Boston. Guys that they seem to get a good jump against. The key is actually getting some players on base. And there you go, Josh Hamilton. Even though Beckham was playing back towards the outfield, couldn't get it. Slowly but surely, Hamilton creeping up towards 260 for a batting average. He was down at 205.
Ball in the lower part of the strike zone. Hit on the ground, but hit sharply by Josh. Find that hole.
Now Vlad Guerrero. He will be looking to tomahawk one here, I'm sure. The big swings that Vladdy takes, and we've come to enjoy that so much now that he's doing that as a Ranger, but a guy that swings that hard, that thoroughly, you'd think would strike out a bunch. He's actually the 3rd toughest player to strike out in the American League. Once every 17 trips to the plate. Hitless yesterday, but well, still for the year, 368 overall. 2nd in the AL to Robinson Cano. The Rangers won that game 6-5 yesterday, jumping on Jake Peavy for 5 in the 1st inning. And it became some white knuckle baseball down towards the end. Vlad takes that big swing, and let's see what the wind does to this. Gonna push it back a little, but not much. Alex Rios has that baseball. And the Rangers turned away. No score at the end of 1.
Community Corner today, we have Dale Williams with World Relief, great organization that helps refugees resettle in the area.
Yeah, we resettle refugees from around the world, and if you'd like to volunteer and help the needy in our community, www.worldrelief.com.
Excellent. Give that address one more time.
www.worldrelief.com.
All right, got a little leaguer on first game today?
Yeah, no, in game we 2 weeks old.
All right, 2 weeks old. He's back at it. All right, there we go. All right, good to see you out here.
Thanks
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks to the
Appreciate it.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Jim. Paul Kerko at the plate here for Chicago, leading off the top of the second, no score. And Feldman, boy, you can see the ball just zigzag in there from Feldman, and that's the life, that late life that we were hoping to see.
I don't remember Scott throwing this many curveballs this early in a game. Out of his 17 pitches, he's probably thrown 6 or 7 curveballs. And it's a much better curveball than the curveball he's had in his last 2 starts.
Kerko swats that one into the crowd, barehanded by a fan.
He has a contract if he wants one.
He's eligible now.
You know, with that contract, if you catch a ball in the air, comes a contract with Nolan Ryan's signature on it.
It's pretty cool. I mean, no pressure to catch it cleanly, but you do get the Nolan Ryan signed contract if you do that here.
It must be caught in the air. Can't catch it on a bounce. Can't drop it and pick it up.
We want good fielding Rangers, top to bottom. Yeah, 2 managers in Ron Washington and Ozzie Guillen who pay a lot of attention to defense. Yeah, last pitch from Feldman looked real good.
Right down the middle of the plate. All the way in the rectangle.
Now Kerko with a smash into center field. That ball takes off to the track near the wall. Caught by Bourbon.
Yeah, well, either he didn't hit that ball very well, or the ball's not carrying the way it does sometimes with the jet stream. Let's see if we can tell where he hits that ball. Might hit it toward the end of the bat a little bit. It's on the outside part of the plate. Well, Scott, one pitch after a pitch that looked like it could have been strike 3, gets the out anyway.
Ozzie Guillen appears to be keeping his wits about him for now, but you can tell it's been a frustrating road trip for him and the Chicago White Sox. Hey, we got breaking hoodie news, by the way, Tom.
Yeah.
Talking about Joe Madden and how that was indeed reversed. Major League Baseball says the hoodies are okay now. Joe Madden apparently yesterday got a UPS package from Bill Belichick. Got a New England Patriots hoodie, the kind that Coach Belichick wears.
That's cool.
It's just a little shout out like, hey, you know, all of us hoodie guys, we gotta stay together.
That's pretty cool.
And apparently Joe Madden's going to take a Tampa Bay Rays hoodie and send it back to New England. So, you know who's happy about all this is the people who make hoodies, because we're talking about it for 2 innings now.
Well, we got hoodies to wear in the winter caravan. They were very good looking hoodies.
I just have a feeling come July and August, we're not going to be breaking out hoodies.
No, probably not.
Could officially sanction MLB tank tops. That would be cool.
A couple times in Seattle and Oakland, though, I wish I had a hoodie.
That's true. Tian turns on one end. That's foul down the right field line. And a nice crowd here today on a Thursday afternoon. It's not too late if you're listening in and you feel like coming out and enjoying a sunny but windy afternoon at the ballpark. We'd love to have you. Last chance to see the Rangers at home for about a week. The Rangers have the Kansas City Royals coming in a week from today. But between now and then, they're off to play Seattle and Oakland. Tian, a wave and a miss.
Good cutter right there.
2 strikeouts for Scott Feldman.
Yeah, it's early in the game. It's only 5 hitters, but Scott's thrown 26 pitches, probably better than any of the pitches, 93 pitches he threw in the last game. His stuff is crisper. Looks like he's getting on top of the ball. His breaking ball is not as flat, has better bite to it. Keeping the ball down, throwing strikes so far. So far, so good.
Alex Rios takes 2 lows. The rare opportunity, not that this is important or anything, but 2 guys wearing number 51 hanging out right there at home plate. Rios batting, Max Ramirez catching. It's usually a pitcher's number. That ball driven in the air to left. That ball takes off. Hamilton coasting over, and he's got it. 6 up, 6 down for Scott Feldman. On your iPhone, your iPod Touch, your BlackBerry, your Android phone with MLB.com at Bat 2010. Go to TexasRangers.com today for more details. Here is David Murphy leading off. Scoreless game, 2nd inning. Murphy has homered the only time he's ever faced Gavin Floyd in a regular season game. Murphy had a big double in the game yesterday. They brought on a lefty expressly to face him. Houston native Randy Williams pitching to Houston native David Murphy, and Murphy 1 out. That was a hit that essentially saved the ball game. Rangers 6, Chicago 5. Rangers turning 4 double plays in that game yesterday, and I'd suggest to you, Tag, that helped a lot.
Yep, I would agree with you there.
Rich Harden
can't think of a situation where a double play wouldn't help a team.
Well, that's true. I mean, Rich Harden was kind of going deep into some counts, and there were base runners popping up pretty much every inning. And it just seemed to stem the tide every time you worried for Rich. He was able to get that double play.
And I think if you watched Rich's game last night, there's still some work that needs to be done. 2 hit batters and 5 walks, but good sign was that he made some big pitches when he had to. He got some double plays to get out of the inning. Got some help from Matt Trainer, who gunned down Juan Pierre 1 inning.
I think of definite concern. Rich Harden went the first 78 pitches of that game without getting a swing and a miss. And for him, that's just bizarre.
Yeah, as long as the contact is weak, like it was last night, I guess that's okay. It was definitely a different kind of a game for Rich. He came into the game with more than a strikeout per inning and only struck out 2 last night, but he pitched 6 innings, had a better pitch count, left with a lead, so the results were good.
So it matters. He got his first Ranger win. Nice long at bat for Murphy. He's going to pop this one in his center, shallow. And the wind is going to take that one, but Alexei Ramirez goes and finds it. What's the wackiest wind thing you've seen in Arlington?
The wackiest one was 1994. We were playing the Tigers, and there was a tornado in the area. And they were evacuating the upper deck here. And Oddibe McDowell hit a sky-high pop-up to Cecil Fielder at first base. And Cecil kept drifting and drifting, and finally picked the ball up in short center field. It blew that far and threw Oddibe out at third base, trying to get a triple on the blooper. That was the strangest one.
Well, I mean, let's face it, we live on a prairie. We're in North Texas, and sometimes when the wind comes whipping through, interesting things will happen.
There's been a lot of balls that looked like they were popped up. They got up in the jet stream and carried out of here, so I don't know if you could pick any one of those that would come to mind. I remember the ball that Manny Lee hit in the first exhibition game in the stadium before they put the windscreen up on top of the stadium behind the signs in center field. That windscreen makes an incredible difference. It stops the wind from blowing in, reflecting off the backstop here, and blowing back out. Anyway, Manny Lee, right-handed, if I remember right, hit a ball over the Ranger bullpen.
Smoke, and that ball taking a friendly hop for Kerko.
And everybody's thinking, if Manny Lee hit a ball 430 feet, what in the world is Jose Canseco going to do? But they put the windscreen up, and it made a big difference.
How long did it take from the first phone call to get those things up?
Well, they were always in the plan. They just hadn't been done yet. They were up there for the first game of the season, but they hadn't been put up. I think they came in late, but they were installed, working round the clock to get them up there for the first regular season game. The other interesting thing, when the stadium was built, the grass in center field was supposed to be the backdrop and the hitter's eye, but they planned that based on the mound being flat. So when you put a pitcher on top of the mound, now his arm and the ball came above the grass, and they had to build a little brick and green structure to be a backdrop. That wasn't high enough. And then they had to put the black tarp above the green backstop. Now, there's no gap there when you're down in the batter's box, but they needed that.
Max Ramirez in his first Rangers at bat of the year, down on strikes. And on this windy Thursday afternoon, no score at the end of 2. Can save you 15% on car insurance. And by AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Visit att.com for details. Scott Feldman will go after Mark Kotze. And immediately a foul ball down near first. Again, a pretty nice crowd turning out for a Thursday afternoon game. The Dallas Zoo was here before the game, putting on that display for the kids who are here on field trips. They had a wildlife exhibition going. Looked like the old Johnny Carson shows there for a while.
Yeah,
they
used to
bring out all the weird animals.
Those are fun on any of those talk shows, but Johnny Carson was the best with those. His expressions were great.
Slowly towards short, and Kotze is out. Yep, natural functions being performed on the top of talk show hosts' heads. That's always good for a chuckle. Yeah, a lot of kids here today. Some of them sanctioned. Some of them, I'm sure, just, kind of creatively getting out of class. We don't endorse it, but we don't narc on anybody.
Great field trip for a school to take. Come out here for an afternoon game. A lot of buses out in the parking lot, so I imagine some schools are doing that.
You used to bus in from Pittsfield anywhere to go to games? No?
No, we never got to do that. My dad drove us down to a game every now and then, but I never got to take a bus with my classmates. I think already in this game, Scott's thrown more curveballs and changeups at the similar stage than any game so far.
That is outside to A.J. Przinsky, who's just 3 for his last 29. With that win, I was going to say, Tom, with the win yesterday, the Rangers improving to 10-11. It's possible if the A's lose in Toronto tonight, you're going to have a 4-way tie for first in the loss column. Everybody will have 11 losses if the Rangers win and the A's lose to Ricky Romero tonight. We'll have 2 12-11 teams and 2 11-11 teams.
That'd be about as tight as you can get right there. But, I think a lot of people thought when the season started that the West Division would be a tight division. I think everyone thought the Angels might drop down a little bit over 162 games, that they might not be quite as strong. They're still the team to beat. But it's pretty much whoever plays the best in our division has a great chance to win. There's a lot of parity right now.
Stopped by Feldman with his shin.
That's one way of doing it.
Well, he just got that wiry body behind it best he could.
Well, the ryegrass thick in the infield, it really slows down ground balls, which helps the infielders on both teams get to ground balls. That will die off when the weather turns hot. And I'm sure the Bermuda grass that takes its place, they'll try to grow that as long as possible, but I don't think you can grow it quite as long and plush as it is right now. The field's in great shape right now, early in the year.
On the ground, deep in the hole, base hit for Alexei Ramirez. And the first Chicago base runner. Talking about the AL West, here's what we're looking at, courtesy of Jack in the Box. Yeah, if the A's lose in Toronto and the Rangers win here today, actually need to update that. The Rangers are actually 10-11, not 9-11.
Seattle and LA have the day off? Or are they playing?
Yeah. Yep, Seattle's off, LA is off, and yeah, indeed the Rangers are 10-11. They're a game and a half out, not 2. Runner goes, good jump. And the throw from Max Ramirez is high. The White Sox now reclaim the stolen base lead in the American League away from the Rangers.
Ramirez had a pretty good jump. Max's throw was high. Might not have made any difference. I think he probably had that base stolen right off the bat.
I concur. And I agree. Juan Pierre, who hit into a pair of double plays last night, consecutive at bats. Now has hit into 3 double plays in this series. It's remarkable. We were talking about that yesterday. Pierre averages about 5 or 6 double plays hit into a year. He's got 3 in 2 days. We were talking about the White Sox now on that Ford leaderboard. This is up to date. The White Sox just a little bit ahead of the Rangers now. The two National League teams right there with the White Sox. Saw the Padres on that list. Boy, they're off to a great start. 13-8. One of the surprise teams in the NL. On the corner from Feldman. With a runner at second, 2 out. Hit slowly towards short. And Blanco will guide it across to get Feldman out of the inning. Still scoreless here in Arlington. No score in the bottom of the third, and folks, you can reserve the very best seat locations for 61 games at Rangers Ballpark. Enjoy a lot of benefits. First game of the prorated plan is Monday, May 17th against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Go to TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS.
Some of the curveballs that Floyd throws break so sharply that it looks like they're going in one direction and bounce off of something and come back in the other direction. That one was one of them. Just nosedived right down onto the outside corner. That one didn't.
Nope. And Blanco just gave it a passing glance. He'll be followed by Bourbon and Arias. Three guys with pretty good speed for the Rangers here in the bottom of inning 3. As we said, when Floyd has got that curveball going, he can be tough.
Well, we were talking to Steve Stone before the game. Steve had a great curveball, and he said he loved it when the wind was blowing a little bit in his face. Thought it gave his curveball a little extra bite. Not sure whether Floyd's experiencing the same thing, but that was a real good curveball.
Bourbon running up as if to bunt. He takes a strike. Probably an important start for Gavin Floyd just to get his mind right. His last 10 starts going back to last year has got 1 win and an ERA of 6. Asking that they check down to third, but that's simply a ball. Last time Floyd faced the Rangers, he was on his way to leaving the game at this point. He lasted just 2 2/3 last time he faced them here. Bourbon towards the alley in left center field. That's beautiful.
If it's a triple.
Looking that way, Bourbon on his way, and he will get there.
Look, Bourbon is one of those runners. If it splits the outfielders, you have the feeling it's going to be a triple. And he drove that ball nicely into the gap with authority. That ball didn't just hit and stop. That ball hit and rolled all the way to the wall. Pitch away from him, doing just what you like to see a hitter do on a pitch away. Drive it that way. And Arias in this situation has been the kind of guy you like to see at the plate, a guy who's going to make pretty good contact. White Sox are going to play the infield in. Good opportunity for Joaquin to drive in a run. Had a big hit in the first inning yesterday. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Look at Julio diving into third base.
With the infield in and Michael Young on deck, Arias hits it slowly right at the line. That's a fair ball. Right through. And the run is going to score. Arias takes off for second base and makes it.
There's a huge break.
They thought Mark Teahen would be the answer at third base, and he still may be, but he's had a kind of a rocky start defensively for Ozzie Guillen. And the Rangers take that 1-0 lead.
They had to have some pretty quick base running by Bourbon right there to get back to third base, so Teahen just couldn't reach over and tag him.
That's a key play right there. You're right.
If he's slow getting back, Teahen would have reached out and tagged him. As it is, the throw sails up and away. Rangers still have a man in scoring position. They'll pick up a run.
It's been a carousel at third base over the years for the Chicago White Sox. And they gave Teahen a big contract to come over from Kansas City and hold that position down for the next 3 years.
Looked like Josh Fields might be that guy for him.
Yeah, they were hoping so.
Yeah.
Michael Young, one of the scarier moments he's had as a big league player, getting hit in the head by Gavin Floyd back in spring training a couple of years ago. Michael missed a whole week.
Good 2-0 pitch, throwing a slider. It shows you how a really good hitter can be fooled when he's in a fastball count looking for a fastball all the way, and you don't get the fastball.
Back into the crowd now, 2-2.
A lot of the balls in the course of a season that are hit hard in fastball counts where the hitter anticipates a fastball and gets one. That's why it's certainly to the pitcher's advantage to be able to throw something when he's behind in the count. 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 1-0, other than a fastball. Most hitters in that situation look for a fastball.
Again into the crowd, still 2-2. Rangers having taken the 1-0 lead. Elsewhere, the Tigers a 2-0 lead on Minnesota now. Bottom of the 7th inning. That's Dontrell Willis getting it done today. It's the only other AL game going on right now. National League, boy, the Braves are slumping, huh? This could be their 9th straight loss. The Cardinals on top 4-1 in the 5th inning. Diamondbacks and Cubs are scoreless in the 2nd. Trying to hold, but he couldn't. Michael Young down on strikes.
Good pitching by Floyd right there. Mixed up his pitches well. threw that slider and got the strikeout.
He's struck out 3 of the last 5 Rangers that he's faced. Josh Hamilton, who singled in the first, will get an opportunity now. Close, but no. And Josh with the discipline to take a pitch like that now instead of just ripping.
Especially on the first pitch.
Yep.
Because I think pitchers pretty much are saying to themselves, we're not going to throw him a strike on the first pitch. On purpose, anyway.
Well, Josh puts himself in a position now where he can get into a hitter's count, and he has 2-0.
And I think over the course of the season, the style that he has now is going to make a huge difference.
It was one of the leading first pitch swingers in all of baseball the last 2 years. Thinking fastball, he got an off-speed pitch instead.
Same thing Floyd did to Michael Young. Ranger hitting coach Clint Hurdle.
And the guys have responded to Clint very positively. Big swing, and he fouls it back. Our Coors Light cold, hard blast take you back to last night. And Josh Hamilton gave the Rangers a lead early with home run number 3. Tagged, right center field, base hit. 2-0 Rangers. That ball gets to the wall. Already a triple in the inning. Josh Hamilton thought about it, but he's going to just hang out with a double.
Yep, good move.
Ball gets away, but you had no way of knowing that on its way in. Another big hit for Josh.
A beautiful job of hitting right there. He'd seen that pitch 2-0, was fooled by it and missed it. And it was almost the same pitch. This time he stayed with it, went down, waited, and drove it into the gap. Well, Rangers taking advantage of the error by Tien at third base to get a couple of unearned runs. Even though there's been a couple of well-hit extra base hits in this inning. One to left center by Bourbon and that one by Josh.
Vlad Guerrero flied to center in the first inning. He'll take a strike. The Rangers without Nelly Cruz, of course, without Ian Kinsler the whole year. And now they've actually gained a couple games the last couple of days. A win today would make it a 5-2 homestand, would make it 6-2 in their last 8 overall. Kinsler is poised and ready. He wanted in there today. Guerrero reaches out and golfs one towards center. That will be the final out of the inning, but the Rangers ring in a couple of runs to lead Chicago.
Chicago by the score of 2-0. Josh and Tom, you talk about, the field trips and everything. We're with the entire 7th grade class of Venus Middle School. Where is Venus, Texas?
It's in Johnson County.
Johnson County, okay. And of course, here to watch the Rangers. Anything else going on today?
Pretty much. We're just enjoying the day, watching the ball game.
All right, there you go. They also took part of that wildlife nature show put on by the Dallas Zoo. We're going to try to track down a couple of those animals a little bit later on.
That'll be
guys,
great.
Have a good time, all right?
Way to go, Jim. Thank you. That would be the whole Jim Fowler weird animal thing and Knox would just be televised greatness. You just know that. Rangers by 2 here in the top of the 4th. And Scott Feldman now given this lead. What can he do with it? Ooh, he's going to shave Gordon Beckham.
Caught him leaning a little bit. Fortunately, Gordon was able to change direction and lean back.
Pretty good lean right there, too.
Hurt his back trying to do it.
He had to bend it like the White Sox second baseman.
Yes, sir.
Seeing a lot of this. Time requested when the wind kicks up. Beckham's been struggling. A lot of these White Sox hitters have. He's just 4 for his last 34. And you don't want to read too much into that, I guess. You know, the word sophomore and slump, they start to link up for a second-year player anytime that there's a slow start. This could well be just a bad couple of weeks for Gordon Beckham. The Rangers pretty much with the same dynamic with Julio Bourbon. We've seen Julio go 10 for his last 30 now. That looks a lot more like what his rookie season looked like. Feldman walked only 1 batter his first 2 starts this year. That covered 14 innings, but coming in to today, his last 2 starts, only 6 innings, 6 walks. Beckham in the air, left center field, that's trouble. And again, it's one that rolls up an alley. That ball just sits down on the warning track, and Beckham going to slam on the brakes. Another ball that gets away coming in, but it's backed up. And a leadoff double for Beckham.
Yeah, that was a good at bat for Beckham, too, because he fouled off a couple of pitches. That cutter that he fouled off was a tough pitch. And then he got a curveball that looked like it caught the middle of the plate. Stayed right with it. And drove that ball into the gap with some authority. Josh, you mentioned that Ron Washington was 58 today. Hattie Taylor is 13 years old today. She's the daughter of the Rangers Director of Community Relations, Tawny Taylor. So Hattie, not sure if you're watching. If you are, happy birthday. Can't believe you're 13 years old already.
That is hard to believe, huh?
She might be horseback riding rather than watching the game. Or she might be at school.
I was going to say school might be a good option, too, at 2 o'clock. Unless she's here on a field trip today.
She could be.
On the ground, second base. Feldman challenging Andrew Jones. He does hit it to the right side, though. That's productive. Gets Beckham to third for Paul Kerko. As we get you to our AT trivia question for today. Like the new graphics, huh? Who are the only 3 Rangers to hit above 400 for the entire month of April? Got to have enough at bats to qualify, obviously. Can't just be like 3 for 6. Answer coming up in the bottom of the 4th inning. Field trip or hooky right there? What do you think?
That's looking like, I got to see a wider view of it. That's looking like hooky.
Yeah. Again, we don't pass judgment. If you got a dad that thinks that's cool, don't fight him. We just kind of killed him on the note, though, for tomorrow, right? Any excuse that they're going to come in there with? I don't know about you, Tag. I mean, I'd like to think that a principal or teachers would be okay with the note that said, you know what, today I just thought Johnny would like a couple hours to go to a ball game.
Yeah, you know, especially if the kid's a good student, having no problems in school.
This is a better memory than any math class, I guarantee you. I'm going to get hate mail from math teachers now. Math is important, folks.
Well, any one math class, yeah.
Yeah, right. Not math in general.
Yeah. I think learning how to add and subtract would probably trump going to a ball game. But.
Well, that ball hovers, and it's grabbed by Murphy. But scooting home from third base is Beckham. The White Sox are on the board. RBI number 15 for Kerko. Base is clear now for Mark Teahan. These White Sox not exactly enjoying April here. They're off to their worst start in 9 years.
Well, other than the Orioles, their 8-13 record is tied for the worst record in baseball. There's a number of other teams who are 8-13.
They just had a real good homestand, too, where they started winning games in walk-off style. I'm sure they thought that was the thing that would lead them forward, but they've taken a step back here in Arlington.
The Dodgers are 8-13. Their general manager, Ned Colletti, said he wants them to start playing better baseball.
And some of the players took offense, apparently. Matt Kemp basically said, don't look at me.
Not my fault.
Two and one, the count to Teahan.
That's the pitch that struck Teahan out, that cutter down and in. First time up, second inning. Teahan missed that pitch.
Now it goes to 3-1. And he walked him. Go-ahead man coming up. That is Alex Rios, who's 4 of 11 with a home run lifetime against Feldman. Down year for Rios last year, as we discussed yesterday, and the Stats Inc. analysis of what went wrong for him in 09 was pretty simple, Tag. He stopped hitting line drives. They looked it up. They figured it out. The 2 years before last year, a guy hit 110 line drives each season. Last year, same number of at-bats. He hit 79 line drives. So the contact he was making, very simply, was just not the kind of contact he's accustomed to making. You hit a line drive, usually good things happen. And he has gotten from kind of a slash and run guy to a swing for the fences guy. His ground ball to fly ball ratio by season has dropped each of the last 5 years. A few years ago, it was 2.5 ground balls for every fly ball. And last year, he actually had more fly balls and grounders. He's in a count here where he can take a big swing now. 2-0. Mike Maddox with a friendly word for Feldman. Mike continues to draw rave reviews for how he's helped change that pitching culture here. Down again, 3-0. Mike Maddox and Nolan Ryan are definitely in agreement. No excuses, guys. Just pitch. The world doesn't want to hear the labor pains. It just wants to see the baby. 3-1 to Rios. Mark Kotze on deck. Solidly to short. Blanco to Arias to end the inning. Feldman perseveres through it, and he's got a 2-1 lead. Bottom of the fourth coming up. Get to the bottom of inning 4 in Arlington today. The three Rangers to be 400 hitters for the entire month of April. Pudge, Pete O'Brien, Le Grand Orange, Rusty Staub in 1980 at the old ballpark. Well, the Rangers have Vlad Guerrero kind of flirting with 400, but he's going to probably fall a little short. Came in today at 368. Murphy takes a strike on the outside corner.
I think it's tougher to hit 400 in April now than it used to be because there's more games in April than there used to be, generally speaking.
It would be nice to be some games in October.
I'd like to hit 400 in October.
Now, you'd be Mr. October. 3-2 now to Murphy. Pete's doing a nice job of working the count. Gavin Floyd again when he needs to. The off-speed stuff working for him.
That's a good breaking ball, but a little bit out of the strike zone. He got David to chase it. One of the reasons a hitter will chase that pitch because he throws it on a 3-2 count when you're looking for a fastball.
We talked earlier about Justin Smoke. Only 1 hit, and this is his first big league homestand, but 7 walks. Tagging that one, and there she goes. First big league homer, Justin Smoke.
There's not many guys who would be 1 for 15 with a .350 on base percentage. Got that fastball on the inside part of the plate.
He smoked it, yeah.
He smoked it. I didn't even want to say that. It was too obvious.
Yeah, smart money was on me saying that. So. He hit it well. And the Rangers pad their lead. It's 3-1.
Wasn't much doubt about that one.
No, sir.
Line shot into the upper deck.
Well, something to remember for Justin Smoke. That's a nice quick bat, isn't it?
Yeah, he got around on that fastball inside part of the plate.
Now Ramirez chasing. He was struck out twice. A 402-foot home run for Justin Smoke. Still doesn't have a single a week into his big league career, but he's got a double and a home run. And it would appear that they're trying to retrieve that ball for him.
Let the negotiations begin.
And be gentle, folks.
Usually you can make a pretty good deal as a fan, though. Get yourself usually maybe a team autograph ball.
Something reasonable.
Maybe an autograph bat by the guy who hit it.
Just don't hold out for like, well, I want season tickets. I want my mom to throw out the first pitch. I mean.
Yeah, it's not Barry Bonds' 700th home run you're going after.
Deep in the hole, Beckham whips around and fires to the bag. That's a nice play.
That was a pretty play.
Really well done.
You talk about perfect timing.
Justin Smoke provided the theatrics in the 4th inning with his first big league home run. The Rangers to as many as possible to Anaheim this July. Voting is underway. Justin Smoke not on the ballot. He was not on the team to start things out here in April, but he's now in the books as a big leaguer with a home run. That accomplished just moments ago, and the Rangers leading 3-1 today. Mark McLemore joins us for the top of the 5th inning, and Mac, that's always exciting, isn't it, to see a good young kid step into one, get that first big league home run.
I'll tell you what, I can't imagine how he feels right now, knowing that he just hit his first big league home run and upper deck shot at that. So it's a great feeling I'm sure he's having right now.
Your first one was upper tank somewhere?
As a matter of fact, it was a pretty good blast. Probably the farthest one I've ever hit. It was the 13th inning, bottom of the 13th. It was a walk-off against Mark Clear in Anaheim. Yeah, I put it up. It was probably about, probably 20, 25 rows deep in right center field. So I have absolutely no idea.
Did you Cadillac it going around the bases?
Absolutely not. You know, I was, with Gene Mock being my manager, you know I was running 100 miles an hour.
Kotze sends one foul. I mean, that's basically home for you, right, L.A.? Did you have friends and family there to see it?
I did have family there. They were all asleep, though. It was 13th inning, yeah. So, but it was a good, very good night.
Well, Justin's family was here, but they didn't see him get a hit. I hope they're getting a chance to watch this one on television.
Now they can watch Justin go to the bag and make a nice defensive play. Mac, your impressions, obviously everybody's rooting for Chris Davis, and the Rangers haven't written him off by any stretch. They love his talent, but the move was made not in June, not in May. It was made in April to get Justin here and Chris Davis back down to AAA.
Well, I think what the Rangers wanted to do was give Chris an opportunity to get his swing together, and the place to do that is not in the big leagues. I think they're still very high on Chris, and they're obviously high on Justin Smoke. And what you want ideally is for both of these guys to be major league ready and able to produce at the major league level, and then you can make a choice.
A.J. Przinsky bombs away in the right field. 2 down.
It worked last year for Chris when he got sent to the minor leagues. He played really well there and came back up and played really well. So you never know what's going to happen in the course of a season. If Chris gets straightened out down there, good things will happen.
As Tom was saying earlier, last year you can go all the way to the 4th of July just saying, well, he's just working on some stuff because the expectations weren't, hey, we're going to win right now. This year, the Rangers feel like they can win right now. It's like, all right, if you got stuff to work out, you go do it over there.
And that's the place to work on it, in the minor leagues, not here on a team that you're expected to win and you have the capability of winning. And when you've got somebody else at that position that can come up and you can give that person a shot, then I think you go ahead and make that move. And one of the things that you don't want to do, especially early on, is fall behind the 8 ball and be, all of a sudden 10 games back when you could have made a move that could have possibly avoided that.
The bunt is foul. And Scott Feldman working on a 2-hitter right now. Ramirez has one of the 2 hits. Feldman looking like he did those first 2 starts of 2010. Not like what happened the last 2.
Scott's looking very nice today. I mean, he's out there. He's got his sinker down. To me, he's still not as sharp as he would like to be, but he's sharp enough to only giving up 2 hits and a run. So, and that's what it's all about. He's keeping his ball club in the game while he's working on things. But he is getting some ground balls. He's got some fly balls early on, but he's keeping the ball down in the zone, and that's really important for a sinker ball pitcher.
Well, Ramirez not even close. Mac, thanks, buddy. Great to talk to you.
Always.
Good inning, Mac.
Rangers
1-2
live.
That's what we pay you for.
Quick.
Rangers live after the game with Mac. Make sure you send him a text as well. The Rangers on top today. Ranger Baseball brought to you by the U.S. Army. There's strong, then there's Army Strong. And by your Texas Chevy dealers, proud sponsor of Texas Baseball. Julio Bourbon will lead it off. The Rangers on top 3-1. Rangers go to Seattle. They'll settle in tonight, get ready to play tomorrow. Should be in time to watch some of the basketball on TV tonight. Wish the Mavs good luck in San Antonio this evening. Roller to second. Bourbon, a big-time basketball fan. In fact, he attended the NBA All-Star game over at Jerry World at the invitation of his good friend Al Horford of the Atlanta Hawks. Those two guys grew up together in the Dominican Republic. Each went on to play athletics in the SEC. One of them played basketball at Florida. One of them played baseball at Tennessee. Strike to Joaquin Arias, who's now been up 51 times this year, Tom, and he swung at the first pitch once.
Maybe he forgot to count that for that one time.
It's possible. And again, when we talked to Clint Hurdle about that, he said it's not like he's under instructions to definitely not swing at that first one. Just what he's comfortable doing. That one grabbed and right. Out number 2. Did you go up there often saying I am definitely not swinging, or you just wait and see?
No, you know, if I were playing today, one of the things that you would be announcing was he's a little bit of a free swinger, doesn't take a walk enough, needs to be more patient. As I look back on my career, I generally went up there looking for the first pitch I could swing at, which probably was not the best way to go about it. There wasn't much emphasis on that back then.
No.
We didn't really know. No one talked on base percentage. You know, I used to know that Mike Hargrove and Toby Harrah walked 90 or 100 times and that it was good, but it really wasn't looked back then at the same way it is now as a huge asset.
Well, I think what you'd hear is get a good one and rip it.
Pretty much.
Right? I mean,
look at this. That's a fair ball.
It is? It is. That's the end of the inning.
That's the quietest out I've ever seen. I think there's a lot of people looking at that going, what happened?
Well, it barely hit the bat. The ball ended up fair. And that's the end of the inning. Okay. 3-1. Well today. Already 7 ground ball outs for Feldman. Remember, his previous 2 outings combined, he had 5, and that was the point of emphasis for today. Get that sinker going, get some grounders. That was a sloppy exchange all the way around right there. Ball got away from Max. Ball got away from Feldman.
Well, it wasn't Feldman's fault. That was a rather weak throw by Ed Rapuano, the home plate umpire. Not his best body of work. Threw a little slider out there.
Bunting is Pierre, right back to Feldman.
Well, it pretty much has to be right back to Feldman, or he's going to beat it out.
Been a tough series for Juan Pierre. Gordon Beckham comes up next. We say hello to Emily Jones.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. A friendly reminder about what you can find on FoxSportsSouthwest.com today. An interview and story on Ian Kinsler and his return. Also, the Dallas Morning News' Jean-Jacques Taylor. An interesting perspective on the Des Bryant, Jeff Ireland controversy. And also, we preview Game 6 of the Mavs and the Spurs. And remember, it's never windy on the website, you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Em. Appreciate it. Beckham grounds out. It's a good day to have short hair today.
It is. It is. And they're short, and then they're short. Like, I would classify yours as short.
Yeah.
I would classify mine as maybe real short.
I would say you're just taller than your hair. That's all.
That's a good way of saying that. I like that.
There's ways to massage it a little, to make you feel better.
I use that.
I tell people all the time, I'm not short, I'm just under tall. That's all. With 2 out, Andrew Jones. You know what they say, though, Tag? Grass doesn't grow on a busy street. You got a lot working in that head. So.
That's right. That's right. Lice. Scabs.
Okie doke. I'm glad I reintroduced the topic.
Lice would have a hard time in my hair. That's one good thing about short hair. When's the last time you heard of a bald guy with lice in his hair?
The 2 on the Jones down and outside. I think it's our first lice conversation we've ever had.
I don't know what spurred that on.
No. The 3-1 from Feldman. Now 3-2. It's a 2-hitter for Feldman right now. Beckham with that double, and there was that single from Ramirez back in the 3rd.
Big improvement from Scott's last 2 games. I think if I had to pick one thing, I think it's his curveball today. His curveball the last 2 times, I think, been pretty flat and for the most part ineffective. Today, it's been a really good pitch for him. He's thrown a lot of them. He's kept it down, and it's been a real effective pitch.
Slug to left, it's foul. Hard into the crowd. Feldman not known as an overpowering guy. The strikeout totals usually aren't huge. He's going to walk Jones. That brings Kerko up as a tying man. Kerko leads the American League in home runs. Doesn't look like anybody will get to 10 home runs by the end of April. Kerko's got 8, and Kelly Johnson, the Austin native, has 8 for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Boy, that one eluded me. I did not know that.
That did sneak up. Inside to Paul Kerko, who continues to be kind of an underrated player on a national scope. With That wind is swirling around at the ballpark. Feldman wheels and deals. Breaking ball in there for a strike.
There's the curveball. When he's needed to make a pitch, that's been a good pitch for him.
A little reminder to Andrew Jones to stay close.
I don't think Andrew needed it. He was only about a foot off the bag.
He strayed a little bit further that time. Feldman chases him. Couple of walks and a couple of hits. That's it for Chicago so far. The Rangers with 3 runs on 4 hits off of Gavin Floyd. We've not seen either bullpen stir yet in this game.
He was going.
Yeah, he was thinking about it, kind of tippy-toeing off the bag.
Scott held the ball long enough to where he got such a jump. He was going before Scott even started home, and he kind of stopped.
Feldman brings it, and he's in a tough spot now, 3-1. Mark Teahan on deck. Looked like that could have been a strike, but Ed Rapiano said no.
Went through the strike zone on the corner.
And instead of 2-2, 3-1, hitters count. That's Kerko stepping out on Feldman. He got some dust in his eyes right there.
The red is where you don't want to throw it. Keep the ball down, you would say to Kerko. There's a good curveball, 3-1.
Well, do you come with the curve on 3-2?
I think if Scott was throwing his sinker where he wanted to, it'd be a good chance to jam him with a sinker, that 2-seam fastball, but he really hasn't commanded that as well. I think you could go with that curveball again if it breaks the same way. It's a sharp breaker that Kerko wasn't ready for on a 3-1 count. And you can't go wrong if you can throw your good sinker 90 miles an hour right down at the knees, make him hit it on the ground in a 2-run game.
Andrew Jones will get going. There's that sinker, and it barely missed. That looked good, but he didn't get the call. Back-to-back walks, and let's check it out.
Those just don't get called, but that's a strike.
Oh, man.
You could tell that was high enough. Four pitches in the strike zone, but only 2 strikes.
As much movement as Feldman has, I mean, it really does become heavy responsibility for the umpire, right? To just hang in there on that.
Well, it's not easy calling those borderline pitches. They're coming in at 88, 90 miles an hour. They're sinking. The umpire doesn't know what kind of pitch it's going to be. And, you know, we're showing that at the bottom of the strike zone. That's a matter of inches, whether it's a little bit in the strike zone or a little bit out of it. And over the course of 300 pitches or whatever an umpire might see in a game, you have to have some margin for error on those really close pitches. So we don't have to sit down there in the dust and the wind and decide whether it's a ball or strike. We just get to look at the pitch tracker. It's a little bit easier for us than it is for the umpire.
Mark Teahan has struck out and walked. You saw the action in the Ranger bullpen. Darren O'Day, who has been felled by a sore back the last few days.
Boy, after Beckham grounded to third, Scott's pitch count was really good in the mid-70s. But after 2 walks to Jones and Kerko, now it's up to 93 pitches.
He's been out of the game in the 70s and the 90s the last couple of starts. Still haven't at it here today. 6th inning. Took something off. It's 0-2.
And the changeup. Team probably would have been right on that pitch in the same location if it was a fastball. That's the name of the game, though, for a pitcher. Disrupt the timing. Try to throw a hit or something he's not looking for.
On 0-2. He got him to end the inning.
Cutter right on the outside corner.
There you go.
I'm not messing around anymore. 1, 2, 3.
After the visit from Mike Maddox, down goes Tian. It stays 3-1. Buy Sonic and the jackpot worth $2,100 today. And dinner for two at Sonic. Good luck to Joanne Brockman of McKinney. If a Ranger hits the Grand Slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. We've seen one home run today. It came from Justin Smoke, his first in the big leagues. Josh Hamilton, who homered yesterday. Rangers have done something that hasn't happened in 20 years, Tom. They've gone 19 games now without a multiple home run game.
Wow.
The Rangers are only 10th in the league, actually now 11th in the league in home runs.
Well, the better your pitching and defense, the less you have to rely on the home run.
Yep.
Although I imagine there's going to be some of those days coming up.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, the point being that the Rangers, normally the best thing they've got going in April is the fact that, well, at least they're hitting some home runs. Not close, 2-2. The Rangers are stealing bases, and as you said, they're pitching for the most part very well. Had some ninth inning wobbles. The ninth inning ERA is 7.6. All other innings, the ERA is about 3.1. Hamilton reaches out, pokes it in a right base hit.
Yeah, good job right there, an off-speed pitch. Josh stayed right with it. Did that the first time up.
That is the first three-hit game in the daytime for Josh Hamilton in 2 years. Josh has commented before that he just, for some reason, doesn't always see the ball, hit the ball real well in day games. That's nice against a guy like Gavin Floyd who can be tough. He's 3 for 3 today.
Yeah, 3 for 3 on a sunny, bright, windy day against a pitcher who's throwing the ball well.
Ball pops away from Przynski, but Hamilton stays put.
2 of the runs against Floyd today are unearned. Tian made an error at third base that caused both of those runs to be earned. Rangers got a break. That was back in the third inning.
Speaking of Tian, will you be doing that in Seattle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll be playing tomorrow.
A little golfing.
We'll be playing tomorrow and Saturday.
The game Saturday is a 2:10 first pitch. It's early considering that that game's out on the West Coast. It'll be a noon or 12:10 first pitch local time. You can see that game locally on KDFW Fox 4. The game tomorrow is on Fox Sports Southwest. That's your garden variety late nighter in Seattle, 9:10. Oh, I'm sorry. Tomorrow's the Channel 21 game. My bad.
Friday night.
Friday night. How could I forget? It's Friday. Friday. Sunday back on Fox Sports Southwest. Yeah, 3 different channels to remember this weekend in Seattle. And the Rangers go on to Oakland Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On the ground near third, foul. Vladdy was hitless yesterday to stop a 7-game hitting streak, but he did walk a couple times. Got intentionally walked for the first time this year, Tag. You don't have Nelson Cruz hitting behind him right now. David Murphy made the White Sox pay for that. He rammed one into right field.
Both pitchers are throwing well today, and both of them are coming off 2 forgettable starts. In Floyd's last 2 starts, it's been 7 in the third, 13 hits and 12 runs. In Scott's, it's been 6 innings, 15 hits, and 8 earned runs, 12 runs, 8 of them earned. Both of them are coming back from those 2 starts with solid starts today.
On the ground near short, Ramirez has got it. The second one. Glad Guerrero is safe. That will bring up the aforementioned David Murphy. Check the play by Ramirez in the hole.
I'm not sure whether Beckham couldn't get rid of the ball or didn't think he had a good chance, but I think if he came across the bag, that was a turnable double play.
Tigers have defeated the Twins 3-0. Dontrell Willis pitched really well.
He must have been throwing a lot differently than he was the 1 inning he pitched against the Rangers. He was scratched, then came back in relief and pitched 1 inning and just really didn't look at all like Dontrell Willis.
No.
Didn't look like he could get big league hitters out. But he came back and did it today. Give him some credit.
Outdueled Carl Pavano, 2-0 Detroit. Yeah, Willis in that game, 6 innings, a 4-hit shutout ball. He struck out 6. And Joel Zamaya for 2. Jose Valverde saved it. That one hugs the outside corner. 1-1.
They're just killing David tonight with that call. Those pitches looked outside. David doesn't argue very much, but his last time up, I think 2 or 3 of those pitches were called strikes. And that pitch wasn't even close. And, you know, there's what happens. You force him to swing at that pitch, and it ends up being a double play. That pitch is called a ball. It's 2-0, and Floyd has to throw something different.
And he's not right. He's not swinging. It's out there. Rangers get a runner and nothing else. At the end of 6, they lead 3-1. Ford F-150. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. Ranger fans on a blustery and pleasant Thursday afternoon. Ron Washington's birthday today and his team winning 3-1. Remember, Wash is on record saying his favorite thing is a 3-2 win for his team. That's the kind of game he likes, 3-2. Sure, he would not be unhappy with 3-1. That's the final today.
I think he'd like 3-1 even better.
And I know
think he can be converted.
Well, how about like 26-1? I mean,
I think occasionally those are a lot of fun for a manager.
Wash had the 30-3 game that he shepherded over in Baltimore a few summers ago. Bouncing ball towards short. Blanco to Smoke. Oh, and he couldn't hold it. Yes, the throw is a little low. That's just a play that's got to be made, though. Now the tying man's coming up.
Didn't look like it bounced. No, he just missed it. Oh, well, one more ground ball and then turn a double play. You'll be right back where you started from.
I think they called in E6, but watching that replay.
That should be E3.
Oh, it is going to be E3. Okay. Yep. That's what they're saying, E3.
If it bounces, pretty much an automatic error on the guy that threw it, but that was low, but obviously it's catchable.
Runner goes, and Max Ramirez throws too late. Couple of steals for Chicago in this game. Action in that Ranger bullpen continues. Pretty good jump again. Mark Kotze, the former first-round pick out of Cal State Fullerton. Drafted way back in 1996. The A's were hoping to draft him. Florida swooped in and got him first at number 9 overall. The A's kind of grit their teeth and they chose at number 10 Eric Chavez. And that worked out fine. Kotze is on. 2 on, nobody out. And A.J. Przinsky coming up. Ron Washington on his way out to make the move, you would think. Feldman just a bit over 100 pitches, but
that whole inning obviously turns around if the catch is made on the first ball. Now he's pitching from a windup, not a stretch. You're not trying to hold the runner. Your concentration is more on the hitter. And maybe it turns out to be a real quick inning. So hopefully we can pitch around that.
Rangers have been playing so well defensively. It's a rare error, and hopefully it doesn't cost Scott Feldman. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back. In a while, he's had a sore back, but the Rangers think he's good to go today. And O'Day's the guy that when he's on can get ground balls just like Scott Feldman. You'd take one of those right now. Darren's going to be facing A.J. Pierzynski, who's been slumping. 3 for his last 31.
It'll be interesting to see if this is a bunt situation. Doesn't mean that the manager will choose to bunt. But when you've got a guy who's slumping and you're down by 2 runs, you want to avoid a double play, get men into scoring position. You'd have to think that in the 7th inning this would be a bunt situation.
The next 3 batters, I'm trying to think along with Ozzie Guillen here. I'm with you. I think it is a bunting situation. The next few guys are batting 218, 208, and 205.
Oh, that's a lot higher than the guy who's up there right now.
Well, that is true. So let's see if indeed the bunt is on. Nope, he's swinging, and he lines it into right.
I wish he was bunting.
No kidding. They're waving the runner. Rio's coming home. And he will score. It's still 2 on, still nobody out. And Pierzynski comes through.
He hit a pitch on, actually it wasn't a strike. I was going to say on the outside corner. Actually it was outside.
Yeah,
reached out and yanked it into right field and hit it hard.
Now definitely a bunting situation, you figure, right? 3-2, 2 on, number 9 guy up.
Yeah, you know, you would think it was an opportunity, but he went against it last time and hit away. Obviously knew what he was doing. You know, there's no fast rule in baseball that you have to do anything. It's just a matter of how you want to use your personnel, what the game situation is. So I think when you're up here talking about it, you try to present what the alternatives are and then find out what the manager wants to do without trying to imply that one way is right and one way is wrong. There was a situation in the Cup game yesterday where someone questioned Lou Piniella, why didn't you bunt in a certain situation?
That bunt is foul.
They had a man on second and nobody out and a left-hand hitter up there. And I think what Lou's thinking is, I want my left-hand hitter to try to drive the run in, try to pull the ball. He didn't pull it. He popped it up. Rather than bunt and give up and out to move the runner, he'd like to hit the ball and maybe try to drive him in. 2 ways of looking at it, though.
And you're right. I mean, the thought makes sense, but when the guy pops it up, then all of a sudden Lou's got to answer the question.
Right. He didn't like the question very much either. What kind of baseball are you watching, he said to the guy.
The kind that makes me want to question why you didn't bunt. Ramirez is showing the bunt again, and on 1-1. They'll take down and in. Boy, a frustrating start to this 7th inning. The error on a routine play, then a 4-pitch walk, and then Pierzynski with the RBI single. The bunt is up near first. Smoke makes a play on Ramirez, but now the White Sox have the tying man at third base for Juan Pierre. Again, the White Sox by design this year are supposed to be more about the little ball, manufacturing runs. Juan Pierre's the guy that can drop one down too. I guess you don't completely rule out some sort of squeeze right here.
I think they're going to, thought he signaled to first base. They're going to walk him? No. Would set up a double play, but Pierre's only hitting 200. Play the infield back, try to get it out and give up the run in only the 7th inning.
Down too low, you've got the second-year man Gordon Beckham on deck. Boy, it's been tough to buy that knee-high strike today. That's got to be. It is. 1-1. Huh.
Can't even see you can't see the first one because the second one's right on top of it.
One would think then it should be 0-2.
Should be either 0-2 or 2-0, one or the other. I mean, it should be 0-2 because they were both strikes.
Pierre takes a big cut. Now Darren O'Day a little bit more in control of this at bat. 1-2.
Pierre's only struck out 4 times in 80 at bats.
Yeah, he's the toughest guy in the league to strike out.
That's a rarity. Let's hope he hits it on the ground right back to the pitcher. Or pops it up.
Lunging for that one. Pierre signed that big deal to go to the Dodgers not too long ago. Same with Andrew Jones. It didn't work out for Andrew. Pierre had a better year last year. Got a chance to play when Manny Ramirez got suspended. There's the pop-up you were looking for.
That'll definitely work.
Up into that swirling wind.
That was a good pitch by Darren, too. He got him up and in and jammed him. Very nicely done. Ozzie didn't like the way it was done.
He doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve much, does he?
Well, you know, he's thinking my strategy was looking good. I let the left-hand hitter, Przinsky, swing away. Let my right-hand hitter bunt. I've got a left-hand hitter up there that makes great contact up with men on second and third. And so far it hasn't worked out, but that's only 2/3 of the way through the inning. You still have to get Beckham right here to get out with a lead.
Beckham does have a double to left center field. He was lined to left and rolled to third. Andrew Jones on deck. That's a guy with 394 career homers on deck. And again, tough to get that low one called today.
Flip a coin on that pitch. And it's not an easy pitch for the umpire to call. It looks low. And you generally, it's not just the umpire today, Ed Rapuano. Very few umpires consistently call that pitch a strike. Because when it gets to them, when it gets to the catcher, it looks low, and it is low, but it goes by the plate, a strike, and there it is again.
Now he walks him. And now it's Andrew Jones. If the move is made, it's because Ron Washington just likes the matchup better. Nippert's stuff compared to O'Day's stuff in terms of how to get the man out. They're both right-hand relievers. That's too bad for Darren O'Day. Some of those pitchers were looking pretty good. Big spot for Dustin Nippert. Scott Feldman's right now on top. It's up to the bullpen to keep it 3-2. 15,000 fans 14 and older receive a Mother's Day reusable bag courtesy of J.C. Penney. 972 Rangers, the number to call right now to get your tickets, or go online, TexasRangers.com. It's been a frustrating top of the 7th. The Rangers using 3 pitchers now in this inning. 1 run has scored. The White Sox have them loaded up. Andrew Jones at the plate and Dustin Nippert on to face him. Andrew Jones having just turned 33. Boy, it seems like he's been around forever. He just turned 33 a few days ago. First one's a strike.
He's trying to throw it on the outside corner. Got it on the inside corner. A changeup. Ended up being a strike, though.
Jones with close to 400 career big league home runs. Batting with the bases loaded. Bouncing away. Max Ramirez, quick flip, and it gets away. And as it rolls helplessly into the dugout, another run scores. There goes Scott Feldman's day. It is 4-3. Just a nightmare of an inning. All starting with that drop throw at first base. That's the second time on this homestand, Tom, that we've seen 2 runs score on a single wild pitch.
Yeah, it's been the same thing for the second run. The ball from the pitcher going by the catcher.
And the Rangers players just had to sit there and watch the ball get in the dugout on this throw. Jones now hits it towards third. Isn't that something? After the wild pitch, scores 2. 7th inning stretches the White Sox by 1. Top of the 7th inning, he leads off in the bottom of the 7th inning. The White Sox now on top 4-3. Just kind of a slow and painful 3-run top of the 7th. The White Sox only 3 hits today, Tag, but they've got the 4 runs and the lead.
Now, the Rangers have had a number of games this year where defensive lapses late in the ball game have cost them.
Smoke trying to edge his way on base. We'll show you some images from his first career home run earlier today, our Coors Light Freeze Cam. First of what will be many. Two balls, two strikes. The White Sox have their bullpen going for the first time. Gavin Floyd all the way today, mid-90s pitch count. Smoke, wow, right back to Floyd. One down, bottom 7. Matt Thornton, the lefty, getting ready. Gavin Floyd needed a game like this, too. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. Came in with an ERA of about 8.5. Winless in his last 6 road starts back to last year. Two of those runs in the top of the inning were unearned, by the way. Grounder, third base, Tian to get Ramirez. So for Scott Feldman, it's 6 innings of 2 hit ball and 2 earned runs today. It's a quality start, but he's on line for a loss. Crowd of just under 18,000 announced watching this one today on a warm but breezy afternoon. Towards second base. And the Rangers go quietly after the White Sox were noisy in the top of the inning. 4-3 on to the 8th.
You make it out to the.
Did you say did I make out in a lot of
No, you make it out.
Oh yeah, we make out.
Okay, good to have you. Here's the tote bag, the hat, and enjoy the rest of the game. Way to go, Billy.
We're missing Larry and Anita. They're usually here with us, but he's sick. He's home watching it on TV.
Hey, you just missed a home run. Sorry about that. Thanks, Billy.
Well, Paul Kerko now leading the American League with 9 of those. And the White Sox extend their lead to 5-3. Dustin Nippert serves it up. And Kerko got it up in this swirling wind, and out it went.
Kerko's been swinging the bat well in this series. Doesn't have a lot of hits to show for it, but a number of his outs have been balls that he's hit hard. Ball came back to the inside of the plate and met with his approval.
There's your major league leader in home runs, Paul Kerko. That's not from completely out of nowhere. Kerko's had some seasons before where he's hit 40. Last year he hit 28. And Tom, going back to last inning, Dustin Nippert, who had thrown only one wild pitch in his last 55 innings going back to last year, uncorks one with the bases loaded. 2-run score on that play. Wave and a miss by Tien. And the Rangers had a 3-1 lead. You know, they have led in every single game this year except for 2. And you'd figure with that stat, I mean, you're talking about a team that's out to like a 15-6 start at worst. But instead, 10-11. Tien disposed of. Now, still time to get it right. The Rangers will have 9-1-2 in the order coming up, bottom 8. And you figure they're set to turn it over to their bullpen, which has been very good.
Yeah, Matt Thornton's having an incredible season. He's pitched 10 innings. He's only given up 5 hits. He struck out 16 in 10 innings. Hard throwing left-handed reliever.
Another one bouncing up there. Looked like it got the umpire, Ed Rappiano. Only 9 hits in this game total. The White Sox have only 4 of them. They lead 5-3. We go back to that last inning, Tom. A.J. Przinsky, who had been 3 for his last 31, jumps on the first pitch he sees and knocks in a run. The White Sox get the sac bunt down after that. And you figured that after Juan Pierre popped up, maybe things were turning back in the Rangers' direction. Saw that shot of Ozzie Guillen all slumped over and miserable after Pierre popped up, but
the wild pitch just killed him. Dustin made a pitch and got Andrew Jones after that, but the damage had already been done.
Very high fly ball. Can he find it? No, he can't. The wind and the sun gobbling up Blanco.
He looked like he looked right straight into the sun and then never saw it. And he got the sunglasses on top of his hat.
Well,
that's either a decoration or he forgot to put them on.
He's shielding, and yeah, I mean, the sunglasses, if they could talk, would be saying, now! Flip them down. Oh, that's too bad. That goes as a hit. Now Mark Kotsay, the batter. 1 on, 1 out. Runner goes. Rios already has a steal today. He's going to have another. Fundamentally, things are going very well for the White Sox all of a sudden, and not at all for the Rangers.
He's got pretty much a running start at first base. The White Sox definitely have the game plan today to get on base and try to run.
Nippert and Ramirez obviously have not worked a lot together. Now Dustin does have a sign that he agrees with. That's a good pitch. Took something off it. Boy, those wind gusts, man. A good day to just paper clip those hats on if you can. I'll take you back to poor Tom Hallion and the battle of his hat. Good footwork there. Three and one.
That's a strike.
That is a ball. Mike Maddox has been wearing a path from that dugout out to the mound the last 3 innings now. Whew, not much of a birthday for the skipper quite yet. 3-1 lead has gone away. It's now 5-3 Chicago. Got the double play in order though here.
Yeah, it's too bad going into the 7th inning. Rangers are playing a nice game. They got 2 unearned runs, but they took advantage of an error to get a couple of runs. Scored again, 3-1 lead. First ball, 7th inning, harmless ball to shortstop, and turned out to open up the floodgates, unfortunately.
Now the trash-talking catcher, Mr. Przinsky, will be the batter. Ron Washington was with the A's coaching when A.J. Przinsky kind of riled up the Athletics in the playoffs. Back in 2002, I guess that was. Game 5 of the ALDS. He had a big home run in the 9th inning. He stepped on the plate, and right in front of the Oakland catcher, Greg Myers, yelled, "Booyah!" That's a little much for a lot of people. One American League general manager has called Przinsky the Bill Lambier of baseball. We'll talk that trash. We'll just try and distract you. Boy, that strike zone been tough today. In on him, and it's shoved out towards center field. Rios tagging at second, heading to third. There'll be runners at the corners now, 2 out. And I'd suggest a big at bat coming up right now. If you keep it within 5-3, I think you got a fairly reasonable shot to have at it. 9-1-2 in the order coming up, bottom of the 8th. You just can't let it get away. One out of 2 with a sac bunt is Ramirez. Max Ramirez, the catcher, will pick that one out of the dirt. Doug Mathis getting ready in the Ranger pen. It's been more balls than strikes so far for Nippert, but again, a very tough strike zone to crack. That's a strike. We mentioned that one score is in from the AL. It's gone final. Tigers over the Twins 3-0 today behind Dontrell Willis. The Twins are knocked down to 14-8. Tigers go to 13-10. All the other AL action is tonight. On the ground near third. Michael Young cuts it off. flips it to second to end the inning. The White Sox add 1. They lead 5-3. The Rangers ballpark in Arlington, or you can enter Dr. Pepper as a coupon code at TexasRangers.com. Get some discounted tickets. Rangers come back home in a week, take on Kansas City. Right now about to face reliever Matt Thornton as we go into the bottom of the 8th inning. Craig Gentry to pinch hit. Got a righty up there against a tough lefty. Thornton throws hard. And having a good start to 2010.
I'll say 16 strikeouts and 2 walks in only 10 innings.
No long balls.
That was a good game for Gavin Floyd. He'd come into the game struggling a little bit. He'd walked 12 in 19 innings. Didn't walk a batter today. Struck out 5. 2 of the 3 runs were unearned. An outstanding game for him.
Exactly what he needed. What the Rangers need is a base runner. They're entrusting Craig Gentry, just up from the minors yesterday. Or 2 days ago, I guess. Big rip. Thornton's got a great fastball. 22nd overall draft pick back in 1998. In there for a strike 3 call. Thornton never quite got it together as a Mariner. He was subsequently dealt to Chicago for Joe Borchard. Borchard never did get it going for Seattle, but Thornton totally clicked into gear here for Chicago.
Yeah, you're kind of taking a chance on Joe Borchard. He's one of those guys with great tools that never made enough contact to become an offensive player. And Thornton was a hard-throwing lefty that it would appear, based on hindsight, that Seattle gave up on a little bit too soon.
Arias sprays it foul. Now, so far, the wind really hasn't been as much of a factor as we thought it might be, with gusts up to 40 miles an hour today. Southerly wind. I think it's a real pleasant day if you're just sitting in the stands. Anytime that it starts to get a little bit toasty. 82 degrees right now. That wind gust will just pick up and cool you right off. Arias to left field. That'll help. kicked into that left field corner by Pierre. Joaquin Arias ends up at second base, and the tying man coming up.
Bird went with his slider and allowed Arias to get the bat around. Not a bad pitch. It wasn't a strike, down and in. Pretty nice job of hitting by Arias to be able to keep that ball fair instead of hooking it foul.
Arias doing everything he can to impress upon the Rangers. They should find somehow to maneuver him, keep him on this team. Kinsler set to come off the DL tomorrow.
The advantage that Blanco has is he plays shortstop better than Arias. Arias, however, has been playing second base pretty well. He's turned some nice double plays last night, making the plays, putting the bat on the ball. It was a tough decision because both Arias and Blanco have played good baseball for the Rangers. They've done things to help the team win.
Young is going to pop one foul. Michaels never had a hit against Thornton, 0 for 6. Josh Hamilton next, and then Vlad Guerrero. Michael Young trying to be a two-strike hitter. Close, but no. Hey, as long as that goes both ways, right?
Trying to hit the outside corner. And
oh man!
By the looks of that, it came back.
Thank you.
A cutter that came back and caught more than the corner.
That's definitely high. 2-2. High again. Grounded to short. And the throw in the dirt. The pick by Kerko. That's huge. That ball easily could have skipped by him. It was a hard, low throw. Now the tying man's going to be Josh Hamilton. The Home Depot presents doing more on defense. Check out Kerko at first.
That was not an easy pick either. That ball bounced far enough out in front of him. That pretty much is a stab in the dark right there. Nice play by Kerko.
Big rip from Josh. That 94-mile-an-hour heat. Same result. Runner going second to third as Josh Hamilton lifts it into left. Juan Pierre steadies himself under it, and the Rangers do not score. Good opportunity, but couldn't get her done. 5-3 Chicago at the end of 8. taking on Ichiro. Eric Karros will be on the call with me on Saturday. Tom Grieve will have the afternoon off. You will hear, by the way, Eric Nadel on that broadcast as well for half an inning. And the great Dave Niehaus of the Seattle Mariners showcase one current and one future Hall of Famer on the broadcast.
Great idea.
Wish I could say I came up with it. I didn't. But yeah, it'll be fun to have Eric.
Who was the genius behind that move?
That would be, oh boy, I don't know. Maybe Larry Lancaster producing that game?
Right.
Not sure. I'll ask. Here's Doug Mathis. Beginning things with Juan Pierre, top of this Chicago batting order. Greg Gentry stays in the game and plays center. Boy, what a disappointing back third of this ball game for the Rangers so far. Got to hustle here to get Juan Pierre. A simple thing like that 6-3 putout that went awry for the Rangers in the 7th inning, really tipped the whole ball game.
Yeah, you can't say that was the whole ball game because a lot of things happened after that, but that goes a long way toward being a 5-3 lead for the White Sox.
And opened the window just a bit. Now Gordon Beckham. No relation to the soccer player. Rifles that one into right center field. Gentry's tearing after it. He's going to cut it off in the gap. Nice play. Holding Beckham to a single. Rangers Live after the game. A preview with Dana Larson real quick.
Yeah, the game ends and we go to work. We'll hear from Ron Washington, also the key players in this game. Both Mark McLemore and Jim Sundberg will be here to break it down, and we'll preview the great pitching matchups that we'll see in Seattle. Game 1 will be the 2010 debut for Ian Kinsler and Cliff Lee. We'll talk about all of that and much more coming up right after the game, guys.
Thank you, Dana. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting night tomorrow night. The Rangers on our broadcast, we'll be talking about, hey, welcome back Kinsler. And on the Mariners broadcast, they won't care about that. They're going to talk about debuting Cliff Lee. 9:10 first pitch tomorrow on the TXA Channel 21. Saturday, Matt Harrison and King Felix. And then Sunday, you've got two of the top 5 ERAs in the league going head-to-head. C.J. Wilson and the surprising Doug Fister.
Well, Rangers catch 3 tough pitchers because Felix is pitching the 3rd day, right?
2nd day, and then Fister the 3rd.
Fister the 3rd.
Yep.
That's 3 tough pitchers, boy.
Now, C.J. has been fantastic. Joaquin Arias, Matt Trainer, other key contributors here in April. I heard somebody say the other day, you know, if you had said in March that we'd be saying at the end of April, where would the Rangers be without Matt Trainer and Joaquin Arias? We hadn't pondered that, but it's really been true. Runner goes, Max Ramirez throws, and the tag, they got him. That's going to feel good for Max Ramirez to get that one.
Oh, he had a chance to get that runner. Didn't have much of a chance on the other ones. Made a good throw. And Mathis gave him a shot because he held Beckham a little bit. Beckham had a pretty good lead. Beckham's not quite as fast as Ramirez. Probably not as fast as Rios either.
One and two, the count to Andrew Jones. That one outside. The Rangers in the bottom of the 9th will start it up with Vlad Guerrero. And you would think they'd be facing the closer, Bobby Jenks. Inside. Walked him. And Kerko coming up. National League Final, the Cardinals all over the Braves 10-4. That's 9 straight losses for Atlanta. They did get a home run from the rookie Jason Hayward, but not a lot going right for the Bravos. And the Cubs getting trounced at home by the Diamondbacks 13-1. I pity whoever had to do the 7th inning stretch singing today. Arizona scored 7 in the top of the 7th to blow it open, and somebody's got to get up there and go, oh, okay, all right. Who wants to sing? Want to know the count to Kerko, who homered last inning. I just got a text from Eric Karros, by the way. He'd like to see if Eric Nadel can do the whole game on Saturday.
I don't think Eric would want to do that. Eric's a radio man.
No, I think he wants me to sit. I think Eric would just like to work with other Eric.
I got you.
Future Hall of Famer, one would hope. Nadel, that is, not Karros. Sorry, EK. Kerko sends one to right field. Murphy going back, looking. Paul Kerko has done it again.
Now that was a jet stream home run right there.
That is a 4 RBI afternoon for Paul Kerko. He leads the majors now with 10 home runs. I guess we got to rescind the earlier statement today that it would appear that no one will have 10 home runs at the end of April. Because now Kerko loads up with 2 in the last 2 innings of this game.
The pitch on the outside corner. It's up a little bit. Kerko's strong. He's got power to both fields. And looked like he hit that ball well, but it certainly looked like he got up in the jet stream and just flew over David's head in right field.
Boy. Both of Kerko's home runs didn't get out by all that much, but they count. And it's 7-3 Chicago. The White Sox have scored 6 unanswered runs. 3 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th. They're beating the Rangers with their own area code right now, 3-1-2. Left field base hit 10. And Mike Maddox was almost at the stripe, almost at the base, at that foul line before the runner was safely at first base. I mean, as soon as that ball was in the air to left field, Mike Maddox was running out. And he actually had to stop himself, realizing that the play was still going on.
TN salvages his day. He was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
Wow. Hey, folks, Saturday, NASCAR on Fox moving to Richmond. Kyle Busch trying to defend his title, take on the checkered flag again. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing from Richmond International Raceway. Saturday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, in high def on Fox. Catch it after the Rangers and Mariners that afternoon. Here's Alex Rios now. Well, the White Sox, remember they had to scratch Carlos Quentin before the game with that sore hamstring. They found a way to score 7 runs anyway. That ball clocked into center field. Gentry on the move. He's got it. But the Rangers with a whole lot of work to do now. 7-3, bottom of the 9th coming up. Car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and buy the Ford F-150. Check out the 2010 F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Crowd just shy of 18,000 today on a very windy afternoon here in Arlington. The White Sox on a couple of Paul Kerko home runs and a Kerko sac fly. Out to a 7-3 lead, and the guy with a blonde goatee, Bobby Jenks, will take over. He has walked 6 already, but he has struck out 11.
He had a save opportunity before Kerko's home run.
Right.
It's just an appearance, but he was warmed up and ready to come in anyway.
Kerko cost him here in the stats department. And the Rangers looking to rally. Vlad Guerrero. Rangers were thinking sweep. They took the first 2 against Chicago. They had a nice little 3-1 lead working today. If the Rangers can't rally, they will have a losing April. And boy, that's unfortunately been par for the course. The Rangers have had exactly 10 wins. I mean, if this holds here, they might end up with 10 wins in April 4 straight years. 10-12 this year. They were 10-11 last year, 10-17 the year before that, 10-15 back in 07. The good news is the Rangers have had great Mays. Last couple of years for sure. The last 2 Mays, they're 39-18 combined. That ball kicking way away, and Vlad Guerrero, after a wild strikeout swing, will kickstart the Ranger rally. Ranger fans cheering wildly for a strikeout.
A big curveball, way in the dirt. Brzezinski was positioned to block it, but it looked like the spin on the ball just caused the ball to hit his shin guard and kick right into the dugout. So it's a start. Got to start somewhere. It's a base runner.
And now Vlad takes off. Brzezinski will not even throw. Should be simply defensive indifference.
Yeah, that's not that significant, except that it does take away the possibility of a double play. Might give you one more out to play with.
Murphy, who didn't hit into a double play last time up, part of an 0-for-3 afternoon. Behind a couple of strikes. Justin Smoke, the rookie first baseman, on deck. As Murphy takes, and down he goes.
David has seen pitches out there all day long. A lot of them haven't been strikes. And that one did catch the corner. Tough pitch. Definitely pitching David away all afternoon.
Jenks usually gets through his 9th innings very cleanly. A lot of 1-2-3 ninths. Last year they were saying about Bobby Jenks that simply his velocity and his mass were moving in opposite directions, and each the wrong way. He was getting bigger, and the radar gun readings were getting slower. But even though the velocity and strikeout rates have been dropping the last couple of years, boy, it's tough to argue with the results.
Well, if you throw the ball where you want to throw it, you can definitely get by with reduced velocity. I can remember Jenks coming into plenty of games over the years where his fastball was in the mid-90s, sometimes a little higher than that. But 92 miles an hour is plenty of velocity to get people out. He's done a good job to David keeping the ball on the outside corner for strike 3. And keep it away from the middle of the plate. Velocity is not quite as important.
Justin Smoke continues to be so patient up there at the plate. Now he'll swing, foul it away. Again, Rangers Live coming up after the game. The Rangers will be getting on the plane going to Seattle. Two Jenks to Smoke. Little flare, foul ground, untouched. Again, Jenks keeping it away to a lefty, just like with Murphy.
Well, one of the pitches that Justin saw today that was in ended up in the upper deck. That was probably a good thing to try to keep it away from him.
He rips it into right center field. Look at that thing take off the Kia Motors sign. And it gets away from the center fielder Rios. It is now 7-4.
Well, he was trying to throw the ball away, but it came right back over the middle of the plate.
Well, the Rangers still fighting here. 1 out, 9th inning.
If you hit your spot, it's not a problem, but actually that wasn't that bad a pitch. I thought it got more of the middle of the plate. It was actually on the outside part of the plate, lower part of the strike zone. Just a nice job by Justin. Looked like it, the way he swung at it and hit it, looked like it was right down the middle of the plate. So you talked about a ball jumping. That thing didn't look like it was that high off the ground. Went all the way and hit the wall.
Strike to Max Ramirez. Already 2 strikeouts in the inning, but only 1 actual out. Because Vlad Guerrero reached to start the inning. Ryan Garko has stepped out on deck for Blanco. Yeah, Max Ramirez can reach. One big swing from Ryan Garko and everything changes. First, Max Ramirez has to reach. He will take, and it's a called 3rd strike, the 3rd strikeout of the inning. And Jenks can have the rare 4th strikeout inning possibly now. Ryan Garko to be announced here momentarily.
Was it high? It was high, but the higher part of the strike zone.
Ed Rappiano makes a change to the official lineup card. Garko for Blanco. And Garko is 3 for 8 with a home run against Jenks. Ryan bursting out of his shirt there, ready to hit. Strike. That one definitely a ball. Rangers being out hit 8-7, trailing 7-4. With only 1 out left to play with. In danger of a 10-12 start here to 2010. Craig Gentry on deck. Now the Rangers again getting set to have Ian Kinsler come back to the team. He'll be activated tomorrow. Garko, base hit into right center. That ball takes off through the napkins out there. It's now 7-5, and the tying man will bat. Well, the Rangers the last couple of years have not had a lot of pinch hits. But there is Garko coming through.
It looked like a pretty good pitch, too. on the outside part of the plate. Good job by Ryan. Hit that ball hard over second. Different score, different inning. He probably could have gotten a double. Smoke probably could have gotten a triple, and the fans groaned a little bit. But in this kind of a game, you just absolutely don't want to take a chance on the bases. Got to have other base runners get on anyway.
Boy, the Kerko homer in the top of the inning now. It's huge. Into the jet stream and barely out. Gentry past the glove of Jenks. Tough play, no play. The winning run will come up.
Well, they're going to have a hard time making that play anyway because Gentry can really run. And once it got by Jenks, it was going to be a tough play for Beckham, even if he was able to barehand that ball.
The acting pitching coach, Juan Nieves, out to the mound to talk to Jenks. We mentioned earlier, Jenks is accustomed to 1-2-3 ninths. This one, though, has gone crazy on him. It started with the strikeout wild pitch. Well, and now Jenks is in a situation where two things can happen. Either he can have a 4-strikeout inning, or he can lose on a walk-off homer by Joaquin Arias, or a whole bunch of things in between. Arias is looking for his first big league home run.
And he got great speed at first base. So if Arias can shoot one down the right field line, for instance, or in the gap, great chance for Gentry to score. That's one of his strengths.
Arias has just missed on home runs a couple times his homestand. If he just gets on, Michael Young would have a chance to be the hero. '25th pitch of the inning for Bobby Jenks. Got a strike.
Good pitch to take right there. Not much you could do with that except maybe shoot one out to right field, but you take a walk right here, the tying run moves to second, Michael Young gets a chance to hit, so make him throw you a strike.
No, reaches out, rolls it slowly to second base. Barehand play, ball game over. Almost a great rally for Ron Washington's birthday present. The Rangers fall 7-5, and Michael Young is left on deck. So the Rangers, well, they will end up 4-3 on this homestand, and it's off to Seattle now. Rangers Live coming up next. Again, your final today, White Sox 7, Rangers 5.